guys, we'll be continuing our End of the World series, where the world ended and civilization of a different race started, as in a different animal. High intelligent animal like us, or maybe even more intelligent. I don't know. But as you know, this life form is kind of like humans and they're discovering the Earth at this point. As they manage to discover all of this and realize it's a peninsula, they expand into it. And they continue their expansion into this region. Not just them, but the Grey Country also expands into this region, making an expansionist area. And what? That wasn't supposed to happen. And this country expanded over here. With explorations being made by the Asia countries, basically expansion happens here with the Grey Country and the Blue Country. Here it's with the Green Country, which finds the Yellow River area. And then they move up into over here. That's about as far as they expand. Basically here, we're at the Himalayas, which probably is around there. Like a big chunk of land probably can't be discovered yet. I don't know if Tibet can be discovered. I'm not sure, but I'd say Tibet is too hard to do because terrain and stuff. With the Green Country establishing itself as a bigger country, with it annexing and expanding into these lands. It's not the only area we're going to look into expansion in. Well, south of the Sahara. About here is like the south of the Sahara. Seems like a big distance. The expansion has started here. So this is where the civilization is. They haven't reached the New World yet. Probably won't for a while. And where he started, they haven't really had a time to probably expand in those areas. Now, some of the most skilled nations in this region expanding, as they know what it will cause. It usually brings good news if you expand, generally, and brings more resources in this timeline and everything above the sun. And well, they expand up here as they're taking their northern expansion. Quite a few people die in this expansion because it's cold. Well, it still gets explored. With the Central Asian steppes being explored, expanding around the mountains is being done by the Central Asian nations. India launches this one, and they meet up with exploration, but they don't realize they're probably still exploring in this direction until they meet the Yellow Nation, which somebody said to call Tunarania, another person said to call it Caspia. I think Tunarania works more because they probably never called that sea the Caspian Sea, I would say. But they were both good suggestions. So get more suggestions for all the countries, except the countries I've already named, which is a few. Like Palsy, Walsy, Palzala, and you know the countries I've named. They're in the first episode. This nation expands rapidly, as this is a Central Asian steppes. But a nation collapses in today's video. That'd be the Greek Empire. Not fully collapse, partially collapse. What I mean is that basically they have a succession crisis. And this is not very good. The southern state over here, which for some reason includes Cyprus and Crete, breaks away. Although it's not called Cyprus, I'm just calling these. And that's not really the Greek nation, it's not Greece or Greek. And look, another yellow nation. We can call this one Caspia. So yeah. I don't favor one comment over the other. It's great. a lot of different regions starting to develop regionally different than this culture, they start to leave. With them not being fully kicked from Thrice at this collapse, they're mostly kicked out. Really, what they don't have lost, what they won't lose in this region, but they do end up losing more land. And these lands will be in different areas, guys. In Thrice, they lose a bit of land, which isn't very great. I mean, they survive. This is the final nation to break away. What's left is this nation, which is pretty unstable and probably might get banished from Thrice. There's quite a few weaker, smaller nations where there's... With the Green Empire, we'll call it, deciding to expand south of the Sahara. As is possible once you're past the Sahara. Maybe the Sahara is getting explored too. I'm continuing to follow the sea. I'm moving up. Now they've realized it can turn into an actual empire, not just a coastal thing. With their expansionist tendencies taking them into here, as it does, eventually this is what their empire looks like. Which means it's less stable, because the bigger your empire, the less stable it is. With India's empire expanding up to where the mountains are that they can't explore yet. And that's a nation, not unexplored land, just in case it looks like it. Or you fast forward some time and then realize. Or this is the first video you're in. Just in case. With the Yellow Nation expanding and meeting all over here. Yellow Nation begins its collapse. Now, that being sudden, their finances are fully, drained, because somebody used it all expanding. I wonder who. Well, the king did. And this area leaves into their own empire. Luckily, their empire is pretty strongest near the center. With this area leaving, and then once this region leaves, well, the region to the north leaves. A super dark red nation leaves. But they kept the Caspian Sea lands intact. And now this empire fractured. The Indian Empire also has a slight fracture between the South Asian and Southeast Asian lands. And then they say, well, this would be the area that leaves. Saying that we're culturally different and stuff, and that we're too far from the center, and we're not represented properly. And that would be a representative democracy that broke away. Because that area wasn't allowed to vote. Because of restrictions in the voting processes in these years. And that's all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Why should you subscribe? Subscribing is good for the channel, and please comment. Bye, guys.